Of all your many achievements, which one are you proud of most?
Here I have to separate I have to separate mathematics from philosophy. But my work in mathematical logic is so largely, or essentially, mathematics, and the reverberations mainly have been among mathematicians and the things that I'm thinking of. Here, the main thing, the biggest, would be my new foundations for mathematical logic. It's a system of a set theory, a departure from the Principia Mathematica in a rather fundamental way. And research has gone on in that by a number of, a dozen maybe, very able mathematicians, mainly in Europe, but maybe 3 or 4 in America, working out more and more results in connection with that. I haven't gone on with it myself at all, but I've read their results with much interest and much impressed with them. But what lies behind that whole movement is trying to find out whether my system, set theory, of axiomatic set theory, as of that 11-page article, is consistent or not. Trying to prove inconsistency or trying to prove consistency. And neither has succeeded. But amazing byproducts have come through. So that certainly is the one I'm proudest of. Maybe in that same field of mathematics, my second choice would be concatenation. It's an article called Concatenation as a Basis for Number Theory, or as a basis for arithmetic, I forget, in which I show that that you can define arithmetic entirely, reduce it, translate it into the theory of strings of marks and concatenation of strings of marks. On the philosophical side, it's harder for me to say because in philosophy, I tend to feel always that when I come out with something that seems right, something that I like, well, others have surely thought of that before, and others that maybe that I don't know about must have thought of it. And if it's put in terms of, if the question is, what on the philosophical side has had the most impact, that's easy. That paper, Two Dogmas of Empiricism, that's just a statistical matter. But that I hadn't thought of at the time as being a, in fact, I had written it only by, it was commissioned. I was asked to give a paper on this because my complaints about analyticity had been circulating in the underground, and so I was invited.
What was your most embarrassing experience?
I think that may have been the time when I was invited to dinner at Łukasiewicz's house, flat, whatever, in Warsaw. And of course, as I had said, German was my language that year. It was to be Sunday. Well, it was to be Sonnabend. And Sonnabend. Sunday evening, I thought, Sunday evening. And that makes good sense. Why isn't it redundant, if not even contradictory, to say Sunday evening? Why not sun evening? Saturday, Sunday evening. Then Sunday morning, I woke up with the awful thought, what if the proper analogy is Christmas Eve? What if it means Sunday Eve, the evening before Sunday? Mm-hmm. So then, meanwhile, the word for Saturday in my vocabulary was Samstag, mm-hmm. which is the word used in Vienna, and the word I'd even learned in college. Sonnabend was a new one to me, but I did look in the dictionary, and I did find it, Sonnabend is Saturday, and I made my way over that Sunday morning to Leśniewski's with my apologies.
Good. Of all persons, alive or dead, who do you admire most?
Yes, all persons is so hard to say. If it's an intellectual, the intellectual in my field, that makes it certainly a narrower question. There ought to be something heroic about the person. And I just don't have a clear candidate there, I guess.
Which philosopher do you most admire?
When it comes to philosophers, I think maybe if I were more conversant with his work, it would be Aristotle. What I know of Aristotle, I mean, as someone who did so much on the basis of, as far as I can see, so little to go on in the way of work of predecessors. The insistence on rigor, the extent to which he just makes such good sense, mostly to us, to a degree that Plato doesn't to me so much. Whitehead would have very decidedly rated it the other way around. He did, but yes. But then among moderns, the most congenial one is, I suppose, philosophically from the old days, is Hume. But for deeper insights, which I've come to appreciate increasingly only in later years, although I had a very good course in Kant from C.I. Lewis in graduate school, that would be Kant, and then certainly Carnap.
For a young person bound for college and thinking about studying philosophy, or for any person interested in the subject, what would be your words of guidance?
One would certainly be to go after problems that he really is interested in, that really puzzle him, and preferably also that he can see would make a difference in how one looked at a fairly wide range of incontestably important matters, rather than some technical detail, picking some flaw in some writer, some current philosopher. It seems to me this advice is something that is particularly important because of the need in so many institutions to publish for the sake of advancement. And the easy way to find a fresh and really tangible topic is to pick a flaw somewhere. And so one can see why it's done. But it lowers one's sights, narrows one's vision. And I should think, if it really seems hopeless to zero in on a problem that you feel is, that even have hopes of doing so, a problem that you feel is really challenging and arouses your own strong curiosity. My question, I would wonder whether the boy was cut out for philosophy.